Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm going to call to order this meeting of the ARPB on Thursday, July the 23rd. Rita, are you there?
I am here.
Rita, please could you do a roll call?
Certainly. Mr. Roche?
Here.
Mrs. Jones?
Yeah.
I guess Chairman Smith can probably answer. Maybe not. Anyway, we know he's going to be here soon.
Okay.
Vice Chairman Murphy?
Here. Thanks, Rita.
Let the record show that Mr. Doherty and Mrs. Smith seem to both be absent. Also present is Town Manager Greg Dunham, Assistant Attorney Edward Nazaro, and myself.
Thanks, Rita. We're going to address the minutes of the previous meeting. Are there any amendments before we vote to approve them?
Nope.
No. In that case, could we have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of 6/25/20?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the former meeting.
Second.
Thank you. Rita?
Mr. Roche?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Murphy?
Yes. Are there any additions, withdrawals, deferments, or deferrals, arrangement of agenda items before we go into the meeting proper?
We have none.
Okay, thank you. We do have the meeting dates in front of us. What we all know is that there's no meeting in August and that we have meetings on September 24th and October 22nd. Does anyone not know if they're available or not available? No? Okay. In that case, sorry, Rita, go on.
If you'll notice at the end of the meeting dates, November and December are to be determined, and I would very much like for you to decide on those today. What we've done in the past, we have moved to the week before on each one of them. Of course, the November meeting always falls on Thanksgiving, so we can move that. If we move it to exactly a week ahead, that would be the 19th. And the December meeting, it falls on the 24th. So if we move it a week ahead, it would be the 17th. Would those be satisfactory with the board?
It is with me.
With me.
Okay with me.
Could we have a motion to that?
I will make a motion that we allot the November and December meetings to November 19th and December 17th, such that they do not interfere with holidays.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Roush?
I will say yes.
Okay, Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
I'll go with yes.
Okay.
I'll go with yes as well.
Mr. Smith is on
Thank-
one talk. He doesn't have a camera, but I believe he can talk. You want to see?
Yes, can you hear me?
Chairman Smith?
Yeah, well, I won't let Malcolm stay on, but I can hear you, but for some reason you can't see me, but I'll listen. So go ahead, Malcolm.
Okay, Tom. Thanks.
Sorry about that, everybody.
No problem. So let's move to the public hearing part of our meeting. Rita, do you want to swear people in?
We have to do these one at a time. Who is going to speak for this first application? Can we have that person's picture up, or?
Rebecca, are you driving it?
I have sent Miss Spray a request to share her webcam. Ah, there she is. Hi, Cynthia. And I can bring up Miss Levine. There we go.
Great. Rita, can you swear them in?
Can you unmute yourself? And Cynthia, can you unmute yourself?
Good morning.
Good morning.
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 Would you both raise your right hand?
Rebecca, I think my husband's on the line too, and he wanted to speak if necessary. So can you include him as well?
Just give me 1 second. I just sent him a webcam request, so let me get rid of Trey and Greg.
Yeah, I think he's only verbally.
Here we go.
He's on audio only.
Oh, there we go. There you go.
Good morning.
That's Steve's husband.
Well, then will all three of you raise your right hand? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah. I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Was there any ex parte communication on this item?
No.
No.
Curtis?
No.
No. Okay. In that case, Cynthia, could you please continue the presentation? I know we've been looking at this for a while. So I hand over the floor.
Okay, good morning, everybody. So we are 1555 North Ocean, and this is a beachfront house. And when the property owners purchased, the goal was to maximize the views from the inside, as we spoke about last time. So with that, this is direct oceanfront, it's marine environment. So what's been happening is over 20 years, it is obviously impacted by the salt air and the environment. So many of these windows are going to be replaced, and the doors are to be replaced as well, like for like. We have been studying the facade. Last time we presented, we had 2 picture windows in this location downstairs and 2 picture windows in this location upstairs. And so since then, we were also reusing these elements over into this area here. So what we've done now is to basically align all of these headers, because on this existing facade, there's a lot happening. So you have spring lines that don't match, arches that don't match. You have very beautiful windows and frames that are actually double glazed, meaning, they have the sash inside the outside of the frame. So what we're going to do is, there's a little bit of echo. What we're going to do is install new rectangular windows up here, 2 new ones, and you'll see this in the next facade, and 2 downstairs. And we're installing paned glass because that's part of the clarification from last time is the what are you intending to do with the stone surrounds, and what are you intending to do with the mullions? So I'm going to flip to the next slide. I don't remember, Rebecca, do I have control of that, or is that you?
Control. Yes, you
To go to the next slide.
You have control, Cynthia.
I do? Okay. I think with the cursor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if I press it again, let's see. Okay, let's do this. Okay. So on this facade, what you're seeing is the replacement of the rhythm of 3 windows from the other existing facade with 2 windows, full height, aligned headers across the board, arches that align with the headers as well, and everything's much more aligned and linear and makes a lot more sense graphically. We've also reintroduce the mullions back to the project, back to the windows. And we have a division in between each component of cast stone. I think that I can zoom in. Let's see, view. Okay. Let's see if I roll the cursor, does that do anything?
Yeah. Cynthia, if you go to the bottom right-hand side, you can see where you've got 81%. If you use that marker, it should increase it should magnify it. That's it. No, just above. Just above.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yes.
Okay. So on the existing facade, we have the cast stone surrounds. And so what we intend to do is reinstall them around the proposed windows, and then have a small linear element down the center of the two new rectangular windows. And essentially what we've done is to address the comments from last time and really study the design and ensure that we match the design manual and the guidelines of the town. So that is our window clarification project.
Mm-hmm. Any comments from, thanks, Cynthia. Any comments from the board? Because it seems that you've addressed everything that was raised before. It's in the letters, but the presentation and obviously the magnification in really shows the alignment, and it is much cleaner.
It is. And the detail, I like the detail that's been related from what we saw the last time. Looks,
and it does. It looks, it looked beautiful in terms of it.
I think it's great.
I agree. It's great.
In that case, seeing as we're all in disagreement, but, no, it's a thank you for taking the trouble and addressing all the points that were raised. And so I'd like to call, if there's no other comments, I'd like to call for a motion, please.
I don't have it printed out in front of me.
Okay. Rita, can I read it, Rita?
Malcolm, would the Levines like to say anything?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, but Mr. and Mrs. Levine. Can you hear us?
Maybe muted.
Mr. Smith,
Yes?
can you hear us? Would you?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah.
Cynthia, did you, is that everything we had? How about the railing?
I wanted to complete this motion first on this point and move to the next item.
Okay. Right, I only have one item in front of me at the moment, Cynthia.
Right.
But let's deal, okay, so should we deal with, Mr. and Mrs. Levine, do you have any comments on this issue? I think we've all covered it, but taking Mandy's point, do you have anything you'd like to say before we put the motion forward? I don't know.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, we can.
Yes. Yeah, no further comments on the windows here. No, I think we took the feedback and Cynthia did a good job doing the rendering for us, and we feel very comfortable with what we see here.
Okay. In that case, thank you for that. Rita, you were talking to Tom. Can he read it?
Yes, he can.
Okay, then I will make a motion to approve a level 2 architectural site plan based on a finding that enlarging 6 windows on the east side of the house, squaring off 3 of those windows, which will now have arched windows, meet the minimum intent of the design manual and applicable review standard.
Thanks, Tom. Rita?
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Roush,
Yes.
Chairman Smith,
Yes?
and Vice Chairman Murphy.
Yes. So thank you for that, everybody. Cynthia, you were talking about another point you wanted to raise.
We do. Okay, so if you could put the presentation back up quickly. Rebecca,
Yep, give me 1 second. Sorry,
Fine.
technical difficulties.
it takes time.
It is kind of frozen. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Well, I'll explain it, and while I'm explaining it, then it will probably unfreeze. What we have, okay, I'm printing a better image of it right now. So what we have, and this just came up yesterday, but which is typical of and normal of architectural projects, is that you see ideas and design ideas move through the project. So, oh, good. So basically, what we have here is a rail system. I'm going to use my mouse here. Okay. Rail system. Okay, so we have very simple vertical rails. That's it. So what the homeowners did find, because they're always looking for beautiful ideas and they always find them, is a rail system that's a little bit more, got a little bit of design element to it. So I'm going to show you, let me pull this off the printer. Okay, I don't know if you can see this image. So this rail system has modules of vertical rails, and this rail system here has a little bit of a design element along the length of the system. So this was just something that we wanted to ask if we could install a rail system like this as opposed to the vertical element. And this was just from yesterday, something that came up.
Greg, Rita, how do we go with this? Does it have to go through the channels of to staff as usual, reviewed, recommended, presented? What's the protocol, please?
Okay, we're discussing that right now. I think we have come to the conclusion to allow the board, ARPB, to consider this at this point in time.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Tom, you can't see this, correct?
No,
Okay.
but all of you can. You still have a majority.
Yeah. Okay. It's more. It's Cynthia, ornate. Is that the right term? The right term.
It's got more design to it.
Yeah. Just so Tom's got a good. Feel for it. I've got a lot of feedback here, guys. All of a sudden.
Could I describe it?
Yeah, please.
It still has a very vertical element with a under rail going beneath the handrail, and then there's sort of a half moon element that links the verticals to the horizontal rails. And it's not terribly different from what I see on the original plan. It's just a little bit more detailed.
Yeah, thanks, Mandy. I don't see any great difference at all. So.
And they conform to child safety and everything like that. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
We just wanted to add a little bit more of the architecture of the house with the railing.
Right.
Instead of straight, just have the little bit of arches.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
I find it attractive.
Yeah, I find it attractive. I don't see it sort of against the design of the house or whatever, and that's a aesthetic part. And we apply the code as opposed to we like it, we don't like it. But I can't be any clearer than I think it's attractive and fits in with the rest of the design. That's my feeling.
And it does pick up on the arches a little bit.
Yeah. So in that case, Rita, can we move forward? Sorry, Greg, can we move forward and make a motion to approve the request?
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can I ask for a motion? One thing I would like to, I think we should add into the motion that we do receive the documents as outlined here that you've got, Cynthia, as a condition.
Meaning this photograph?
Yeah, to show the detail, to show what we're changing it to, because we don't have that in front of us at the moment. So could I ask for a motion, please?
Yeah, it's difficult to see, Cynthia, but on this presentation, but it doesn't look like it's meaningfully different. So
Oh.
I'll make a motion that the railing on the second floor is adjusted per a photograph shown by Cynthia Spray, and has been discussed by the ARPB.
We have a second?
Second.
Rita, please.
Mr. Roush,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Chairman Smith,
I can't see it. I'll abstain.
Vice Chair Murphy.
Yes. So with that, thank you for going the course with us, and I think you have a beautiful design and enjoy living in the home.
Yes, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'll see
Thank
that
you.
you all get pictures.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, so can we now move on to the next item, please, on the agenda? Rita? Sorry. Rebecca, are you driving still?
I am. I'm changing over. Hold on one second. And then let's bring up. Oh, nope. Oh, wait.
Yep.
Do you have the camera button pushed up in the upper right-hand corner?
Yeah, I do. And I've clicked it on and off. I've gone to diagnostics. This is my wife's computer is the problem. And so I'm not that functioning with it. But I've
Okay.
tried everything I thought I could do. Thanks, Curtis.
Okay, so who do I need for this next presentation?
Mr. Murphy.
Okay, I'm sending Mr. Murphy a webcam request.
Rebecca, I'm on.
There we go.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
Morning.
morning. Can't see the photo yet, Tom. Ah, there. Do we have everybody?
We have two of them, but not Mr. Murphy.
Mr. Murphy, do you see a text bubble that pops up on your screen saying that I'm requesting for you to share your webcam?
No, I just see my face. A webcam, I see webcam preferences.
Can you drop that down and say share my webcam? At the top of your screen, there should be a button that says a drop-down menu that says webcam. Well, it should say webcams, and then when you drop down, the first option should be share my webcam.
I have webcam. Here it goes. Okay. How's that?
Success.
There you
Perfect.
I'm becoming a technological whiz, Rebecca, with your help.
Glad to assist.
This is Nina DeClerc. I'm online. I'm having technical difficulties myself. I don't know if you all can see me, but I'm here as well.
We can't see you, Nina, I don't think, but I can't see you.
I can see you.
Oh,
I
you
can
can?
see you.
Yeah,
Right.
do you know what?
I think
Susanna,
that's
my
actually
sister-
Susanna. So, Miss DeClerc, if I can only have 6 cameras active at a time. So if you would like to speak, I'll have to trade out someone's camera for yours at a time. So we'll just have to kind of coordinate that. I'm so sorry.
No worries, no worries. But Susanna's name is labeled Nina by mistake, but just so you know where it says Nina, that's actually Susanna.
That's right. Thank you.
The joys of web conferencing.
Exactly.
So in that case, Rita, any ex parte communication on this application before we start the presentation?
No.
No. No.
No.
Rita, can you swear everybody in, please?
Everybody, please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Yes.
I do.
Thank you. In that case, please could we please can you make the presentation to the board?
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. If it please the board, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chairman, Mrs. Jones, Mr. Roach, good morning, and good morning, Rita, Taylor, and Mr. Dunham, and Trey, hello. And thank you again, Rebecca, for your technological assistance as we maneuver through COVID-19 in the webcam world. I'm pleased to represent the beneficial owners of 555 Pelican Lane. And to briefly give you some background before my clients say good morning, in the interest of full disclosure, I have been a neighbor of the applicants for over 27 years. And before the sad death of the applicant's father last August, Martin Brown, I was his neighbor, and I was also the neighbor of the Brown siblings' mother, Elizabeth Brown, a lovely lady who died entirely too young. It's been my distinct pleasure to know the Brown family, which also includes their uncle, W.L. Lyons Brown Jr., and his wife, Alice Carey Brown. My wife and I moved to Driftwood Landing in 1993, and we have known this family since those days. Eliza, Nina, and Susanna would like to say good morning to the board, and thereafter I would like to call on Martin Brown Jr. to just give a brief history of the Brown family in Gulfstream. So with the permission of the board, I would first like to hear from Susanna.
Good morning, board members. I'm Susanna, not listed, my name's not listed correctly, Susanna Brown, Scott Barnes. And thank you for your service to Gulfstream and this community. And I guess I just wanted to say a couple quick things about our family's relationship with this property and our relationship with the community. We've had a long history. I think my brother's going to be talking about how long the history is. And we really see ourselves as community members of Gulfstream, deep community members, and have, even though we aren't technically Florida residents, this really does feel like our home. We have many family members that have spread out across the country, but this property is kind of the glue that keeps us all together. So on an emotional level, this is a very special place to us. I met my husband in Florida, who worked for 25 years, over 25 years in Florida. We've raised our children here until school age. And then we have really participated in the community by contributing philanthropically and being members of the local church, a local church, which to my kids' dismay, we attend regularly. And of course, we do contribute mightily to the property taxes. But so I just wanted to kind of say thank you to you all and what you're doing, and just to say that we really are community members of Florida and the city of Gulfstream. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you.
I think Nina is going to say hello.
I'm not sure I'm going to be on video, so hopefully this will work. I'm having a little technical difficulties with my iPhone here. But good morning, and I just want to again echo what Susanna was saying. Thank you so much for all you do for Gulfstream. And I guess really what I wanted to say is sort of what I was discussing with my son last night, how it's such a rare and beautiful thing to have multi-generational sort of experiences with one place. And I have to say, we were talking about how 4 generations have been enjoying the view of the intercoastal. And that's such a sort of a rare thing. And I think my son was not as impressed as I was, but that's okay. I was just saying, you will appreciate it when your children are looking at it. But I wanted to say that how much we love Gulfstream, and specifically, this little area where we've learned how to bicycle and collected Easter eggs over the years. And we're just grateful that you've welcomed us and let us be able to say how much we appreciate the history that we have there and the connection. So thank you.
Thank you. Tom, is it to you or Mr. Brown Jr.? Would you like to speak?
I think our sister Eliza is on as well with just audio. Is that Eliza? Are you there? We heard her earlier.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can, yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry, everyone. Yes, thank you all for allowing us each to speak. I will. I appreciate and echo exactly what my sisters have said, and I too have such a deep connection to Florida. And in fact, I met my husband down there too. Oddly enough, even though we were both living in San Francisco, we didn't realize that both of our parents were in this teeny little 2-mile stretch of Gulfstream, us on the southern end, and his father was living on County Road at the northern end. So from both of us, we have a deep connection and affection for Gulfstream and for our time down there. So thank you for allowing us to speak to you all this morning.
Thank you. Tom.
Martin, would you like to say a few words?
I'll share a few words as well, if that's all right. Vice Chairman Murphy, thank you. Again, we're a large family and we appreciate your giving us, each of us, a chance to speak, but I'm somewhat the family historian, so I'll throw it out a bit from a historical perspective that our grandparents purchased the half dozen or so acres that now comprise Driftwood Landing shortly after World War II, and they bought the principal residence and what was mainly a mangrove jungle around the area and improved it over time, and now there are 12 residences where there used to be one. And our grandparents were W.L. Lyons Brown Sr., who was and early president of Gulfstream Bath and Tennis Club, and his wife, Sally Schallenberger Brown, died in 2011 at age 100. They planted the royal palms that still line the Driftwood Landing entry drive and added tropical gardens and boat slips to the area. And the prior owners retained land to the south at 555 Pelican Lane, where they built a second residence that our grandparents acquired in 1951. It passed out of the Brown family for several years until our parents bought it back into family hands in 1998. Our father, Martin Brown Sr., who died last year, came as a boy to Gulfstream. He roamed the beaches and developed a lifelong love of fishing. He attended the Gulfstream School and later loved to tell stories about his adventures on land and sea in that era. He continued to visit regularly as a young adult, bringing his wife, our mother, and all 4 of us to stay with his parents. After his father's death nearly 50 years ago, our father purchased his parents' guest house at number 2 Driftwood Landing. He joined the Gulfstream Bath and Tennis Club and the Gulfstream Golf Club, and our father and mother brought our family, the 4 of us, and ultimately their grandchildren to Gulfstream regularly over the years afterwards. And our father loved, as one of my sisters mentioned earlier, teaching his grandchildren to ride bikes up and down Pelican Lane. So our parents taught us an appreciation for the distinctive character of Gulfstream, which I would say has a relaxed yet gracious style that always made us feel welcome and fostered deep friendships between us and many others here. And we have been joined by other family members over time. As Tom mentioned, our uncle Neil has our grandparents' house, and a cousin has a house, another house in Driftwood Landing, and our sisters, my sisters and I have 2 other lots in addition to the 555 Pelican Landing property. So our deep roots continue. And one of our family values is conservation, and my sisters and I learned at early ages the importance of maintaining family properties and reinvesting to protect the craftsmanship involved in these multi-generation houses. And our goal today is to safeguard our waterfront property at 555 Pelican Lane by installing hurricane-proof windows in a way that doesn't alter the historic character of the house as it's existed over the past 70 years. So Tom, that's what I intended to say. Thank you all for your time today.
Thank you. Tom.
Thank you, Martin. May I proceed?
Yes, you may please, Tom.
Thank you. I'm well aware, and my clients are well aware of the provisions of the code with respect to mullioned windows or muntins. And rather than go back and review the history of the evolution of the ordinance in question with respect to the ratio of glass, the total glass to window, and the requirement, therefore, of the division of the glass into different sections, I want the board to know that ours is an equitable request. I am mindful of the fact that we have an ordinance in place. However, given the antiquity of this home, which has existed for 70 years on the Intracoastal, and given the fact that the request for relief for 6 windows affects only a view to the Intracoastal, and the fact that the request of 6 windows out of a total of 26 is, I think, a reasonable request. Let me delve a little bit farther into the history and why we're here today. After Mr. Brown died in August of 2019, and his children inherited this property, which is held formally by a trust. It occurred to Eliza Brown that her father had, for all of the years of his ownership, not been insured for wind. And Eliza, having recently suffered the entire destruction of a home in California due to the wildfires that blazed over the last couple of years, she became alarmed when she learned that the house at 555 Pelican was not insured for wind. And given the hurricanes that are obviously targeting our area, where we have experienced ourselves 3 or 4, Eliza went ahead and contacted a window fabricator and installer and ordered hurricane-proof windows. She met with the fabricator, and those windows were manufactured, which is the reverse order in which things are done in Gulfstream. That is to say, the company with whom Eliza contracted should have first gone to see Rita and Greg and reviewed the requirements of Gulfstream. Instead, the Browns have incurred the cost of manufacturing of almost $60,000, after which the fabricator / installer went to meet with Greg and Rita and was told that his plan did not comply with the appropriate section of the Gulfstream code. The staff, Rita and Greg, sat down with the fabricator and drew in what would be in compliance with the Gulfstream ordinance. I have provided each member of the ARPB with photographs of the 6 windows in question. The 3 show the windows as they are now, the windows as fabricated with thick black lines, and the windows as required under the Gulfstream ordinance, where you'll see pencil black lines, which divide the windows in question into 4 panes up and 2 panes down. The windows in question, one set has blue shutters on either side, and the other set have no shutters. The problem that Eliza faced was either to board these windows up in the summer with plywood in order to be able to qualify for the provisions of a windstorm policy, or to order an elaborate metal shutter system and or to go with hurricane glass. Obviously, the preferable remedy was to order hurricane glass. In any case, the fabricator met with Rita and Greg, and then I was called upon by the Browns to find out what the lay of the land was, and I let them know that the only available option would be to request a variance from the ordinance so that the windows as
Tom, you're frozen.
Tom, we've lost you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry. So in your photos, the fabricated windows are the wide black lines, and the Gulfstream ordinance windows are those with the wide black lines and the small black lines. Simply stated, a notice was given to all affected parties, including 2 condominiums across the waterway in Delray. Those condominiums cannot see this house whatsoever. Moreover, no resident on Pelican, including the Stiglitzes and the Brown's cousin, can see the windows either. The only persons who can see the 6 windows facing the Intracoastal is Randall Stoft, with whom the ARPB is familiar, an architect who is building a primarily glass structure on the Intracoastal. There are 2 small condominiums also by the bridge. The point that I'm trying to make is that no Gulfstream resident is adversely affected by the request that we are reviewing today. No one can see these windows except for the properties across the Intracoastal and that are located in Delray Beach. I don't want to make some kind of argument that under the police powers of the municipality must be reasonable in terms of how it regulates things like windows, doors, roofs, colors. We are not at all interested in rewriting the laws of the town of Gulfstream. We are simply saying to this board, please grant us relief of these windows, which have been in place for 70 years, by allowing them to be replaced by safe and secure windows, which can only be seen across the Intracoastal, and would enable the Brown family to have wind insurance.
Thank you, Tom. Can I open it to the board for discussion, please? Comments?
Tom, are there, we got your package, but are there pictures of the actual fabricated windows that you would like to put in? The package I got just had black markers.
Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah, those are the windows that have been fabricated. In other words, they were not delivered and installed. And the thick black lines, Curtis, demonstrate how they would look when installed.
Okay.
Um,
And I mean, I've been to the property. I know Lee and Alice Carey very well, and and I think I've met the other Browns too at various times. But and I'm well aware that it really isn't a visual intrusion, but by the same token, it is a request for a variance. But I would be inclined to accept that variance myself, but that's a personal opinion.
Thanks, Curtis. Mandy, any thoughts?
I sympathize with the family. I understand the issue they have. I worry if we give a variance, will it open a can of worms for other people? But maybe the circumstances surrounding the house and the age of it would appease that. I'd love to hear what our lawyer said. What would they recommend?
Yeah. Thanks, Mandy. Tom?
Yes, it's other Tom. It would have been a little more helpful if we could have maybe seen a sample of the window, even the other ones that were installed. Are they going to be white, or are they going to be brushed aluminum, or are they going to be? They're not going to be black, are they?
No, that was just to depict. This was just to depict graphically the division of the panes, Tom.
Okay, so they're going to be white.
Yes.
Anodized white? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Tom Murphy. Tom, you mentioned that these 6 windows are part of, was it 26 windows in total for the property?
Yes, sir.
Are all the windows being upgraded to hurricane strength?
Yes, they are.
Okay, and I take it that the other 20 windows, there's no issues with variances or anything like that. They're fully in compliance?
None whatsoever. There is no objection at all.
Okay, thank you for that. One of the things, and I'm going to hand it over to Trey to get the legal feedback that Mandy was asking for. One of the things that we always do is there are 8 key factors for a variance. And one of the factors that I'm sort of known for is number 2, where the special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant. In the way you've described it, you have a building that's 70 years old and definitely in need of upgrading, making sure that it stays in good condition and that it's safe. And obviously the terms of the insurance. That's always been one of the areas that I've had when we've had variances that I've addressed. Does someone actually have a choice? In this instance, you're actually being forced into doing this because otherwise the property will become damaged and not able to stand up to the conditions we face. It's wear and tear after the many decades. So that would be my comment, that number 2 doesn't seem pertinent to this. So Trey, what's your perspective, especially Mandy's point about precedents?
Sure. So each applicant's variance request is reviewed on its own merits rather than on the basis of previously approved variances within the town. So the granting or denial of a variance does not establish controlling precedent or constitute a basis to sustain or deny any other variance requests. So Ms. Jones is correct in that this would not establish any sort of precedent for Gulfstream.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you.
In terms of the points, the 8 points we have to meet, and this obviously goes to the commission afterwards. number one, you've got special conditions and circumstances that exist. You absolutely have, as far as I see it. Number two, I've addressed, and Trey, you've addressed the other points in terms of granting special privileges that aren't open to anybody else. And Tom, Tom Murphy, your point that no one in Gulfstream is adversely affected from this vision, from seeing this design. In my position, I think we should. Well, my position, as Curtis put his, is that it isn't detrimental, and I see it as important to preserve the building. And obviously, there's a significant amount of money been spent on this. So that's my opinion. Any further discussion before we put it? Are we ready to make a motion?
One other thing, the only thing that is, this is basically a family compound, and they have a lot of acreage that really, and that has been in the family for a good number of years. So I think that the only thing I was concerned about is in the future, if other people said, well, the Browns were able to do this, why can't we? And I think that the Browns property is an extenuating circumstance that could be allowed. And, but I don't want to make this a Pandora's box where, which I think the other board members would like to, share with me.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's a very good point, Curtis, that this isn't a precedent. Well, obviously legally Trey said it, but the fact of the unique circumstances of the location allow this, or allows us the latitude. I think that's what we're saying. Okay, in that case, are there any other comments? Obviously not. Could someone try to put together a motion, please? But could we add to the motion, I think, the point that, Tom, was it you or Curtis? We would like to see the windows themselves, not just the marked up plans as a condition.
Yes, we can make that happen.
Because when this goes to the commission, they'll want to see it. They'll want to see that.
I'll have that done by the fabricator, and I'll have him bring that to Rita and Greg as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you. Can I call for a motion, please?
You can't see me. I'll make a motion. Curtis, go ahead.
No, I don't have it written in front of me, so you.
I'd like to make a motion to recommend approval of a variance from the provisions in section 70-101 that require the use of muttons in windows to divide the glass into unified sections.
Could I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Rita?
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Roth?
Yes.
Chairman Smith?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Murphy?
Yes.
And I'd like to make a further motion to recommend approval of a level 3 architectural site plan to permit the installation of 6 windows facing the intercoastal waterway without the required muttons, and further that we will be brought a photographs or pictures of the actual windows that are intended to be installed before the town commission meeting.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Rita, please.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Roach?
Yes.
Chairman Smith?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Murphy?
Yes. And that is the application considered and voted upon. Thank you to everyone who presented.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Brown
Thank
family.
you.
Chairman. Thank you, members of the board.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you
now
so
move-
much.
You're very welcome. We now move on to item 7. Are there any items by staff?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Item by board members?
Nothing by me.
Nothing.
And the public are absent. On the
Malcolm?
screen. Yes,
Just
Tom.
Tom, just one question for staff. Do you think that possibly by September we'll have an in-person meeting?
We'll know more, yes, I mean, a lot of the town commissions and planning boards and cities, actually, had opened up their meetings, but, are in some cases where they had opened up their town halls or city halls to the public are kind of taking a step backwards, at this point. So, it just remains to be seen. It all depends on the performance of this virus, and so it's a little hard to make that call at this point in time.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Greg. In that case, everybody, I'm going to wish everybody a good summer, a safe summer, and we'll see each other in September. And I adjourn the meeting. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.